So I'm in the honey house this morning. A little sprinkle of rain out there. I need to do some work outside today, but I'll have to wait until the rain passes. I don't begrudge the rain at all because boy, we need the rain. I dug out the melter and got that cranked up yesterday. So I put some scraps of wax that I've been collecting over the past year, and also my scrapings from this spring, cleaning up my frames, etc. And so once that's all melted, then I'll pour that off. And after that's done, I need to start in on all this. It's going to take me a while. I can do 3 boxes of frames at a time, and if I'm thrifty, I can rotate that and do 2 batches a day. So that will take me a while. I don't know how many are here, but there are quite a few. So you might hear a motor running, and that's my big air conditioner in the corner here, because I have a load of mating nucs that we made up a couple of days ago. And of course, I've explained before many times my 2-night thing. Put them in here for 2 nights and then take them back to the apiary. I'll set them up and fill them with queens in short order. I'm kind of running out of the ability to make mating nucs, so I'm probably going to shut the queen rearing down here soon. And that's okay. I'll take that builder and I'll break it up probably into 3 or 4 pieces, maybe more, maybe 5 pieces, because there's a lot of bees in there. There's a lot of feed as well, and I'll make up some more mating nucs with that, and mate the last round of the queens in there, because there's a lot of bees I can use in that cell builder. So then it's just a matter of getting the nucs growed up and ready for winter, really. That's next year's bee apiary is what's going on in the mating yard right now. So this week has been, again, not a ton of content, and I've been kind of wondering why that has been. And I think that has been so because I've just been doing 1,000 little jobs, unrelated jobs, and I think I've been busy, so it's hard to take time to do video on it when I'm busy. I've had people here helping me, and I've explained before that I don't like to use their time up for my YouTube hobby. And I want to put things out there that are interesting to you. I have a hard time zeroing in on what's interesting to you, because sometimes I'm surprised what you don't find interesting and surprised what you do find interesting. So I try to have a variety, and I just try to have it interesting. So those are my excuses, and that's all I've got is excuses. But I'll try to bring you out to the apiary as I bring these bees out and whatnot. It looks like my wax rendering is not quite done overnight, so that'll sit there for a few hours yet. I turned the temperature up a bit, get that wax melted nice. So we'll catch you up again in a few minutes. Okay, this is going to satisfy my chi just fine, because I fit 6 nucs on a stand on a pallet, and I've got 2 stands here ready, and I have 12 nucs. So this is going to work out just fine. I'll be able to sleep soundly. I think I'm really pushing the limits of diversity and symmetry because these all look the same, really. There's a few colors. There's a red one there, there's a red one there. But it seems to work out pretty good. I have pretty good mating success with this configuration. We put a lot of feed in some of these. They're kind of heavy. I had somebody asking me in the comments, you know, what am I using, 5-frame boxes or 2-frame box or 3 or whatever, and why? You know, I think a lot of times we're looking for some deep explanation or deep wisdom on why we do things the way we do. These are 4-frame boxes, and the complicated reason why I use these is because I have them. That's it. It doesn't matter. Now, advantages, disadvantages. You can use a mini mating nuke, which is very small frames, very small patch of brood, very small cluster of bees, and those work just fine. In the warmer weather, like we're having warmer weather now. These take 4 frames, so there's some resources. I still really only put 1 frame of brood, sometimes a frame and a bit, and a framer and maybe a shake of bees. So these have more resources than, say, a mini has, but they don't have as much in them as like a 6-framer or something. You could use a 6-framer, you could use a 5-framer, it doesn't matter. So as far as the bees go, it doesn't matter. In the climate that I'm working in and in the weather I'm working in, you start to get colder weather, then you want something that's a little tighter, maybe a little more insulated. What you don't see is these boxes have a screened bottom. There's no solid bottom at all. It's 100% screen. So that's why I can go and close them in and take them into my building. It's not perfect though. They'll still get hot, and that's why I put them right beside the big air conditioner. So again, it's not some really deep precision queen mating bee management. It's what I have. And in past years when I've run out of these, I'll use my 6-framers. You know, I'll use the poly 6-framers and whatnot. Some of these early ones are going to go into 10 frame. Hopefully they'll grow up enough to winter in 10. And then some of the later rounds of queens, they'll go into 6-framers. I think I've got 32 poly 6-framers, which I'll use up, and then we'll go from there. We'll see how that spins out. I've got a few wooden 6-framers. I'm always waffling back and forth between the 6s and the polys and the wood. The wooden boxes sure are nice to handle, and they work really well in my system, especially when I'm trying to run nukes in them and I want to put them through honey flow. Then I can put 2 10-frame boxes on top of the wooden 6s, whereas the polys, I can't do that. I have to put either a poly 6 on top, or I can actually put a wooden 6 on top, and then the queen excluder sticks out each side, or even one side if you want to do it that way. So what I need to do here is I need to mark these as to what round of queens is going to go in these, but I actually need to do that when I put the queens in. There actually are 3 of these that have queens in cages, so I need to find those, take the queens out of the cage, but not before I do cell checks, because I need to cell check all of these still, make sure there's no rogue cells, and then the ones that have the queens, I can release those, or I can take the cap off and let them candy release, which is what I might do, because when I shake the bees off to do queen cell check, it really stirs them up. I don't want to dump a virgin queen in there at that point. You know, if the bees get wind that there's something wrong, they'll often blame the queen and they'll kill her. So some of these have my markings from previous year. You see how well that Markall paint pen works. I didn't raise queens last year, so these markings of 2 years old. That's pretty good. It's a very good paint pen. It'll write on almost any surface, wet or dry, and it lasts a long time, but you can scrape it off. If you try, you just gotta try. Here's a funny looking thing. What I'm trying to do here is I've prepared a cage. I've prepared a cage with some candy, but the cage with the queen in it has no candy. So I want to get that queen in the candy cage. I could open that up and put the candy in that cage, but the queens tend to really ride up on the tube end, and when you pull the cap off, they're quite often in the cap. So this is I don't know what they call it, queen muff, I think. A muff is something old time the ladies would put their hands through this thing to keep them warm. So I think that's what this is called, and that's exactly what it's for. Is I've got my cage and I've got my queen cage with the queen, and so I can pull this cap, and hopefully, because she's a few days old now, she could fly away. Now I don't know how much of this you can see because I'm not watching the camera. Okay, so I got her in there now. She's in the candy cage. I just have to get it closed up. It's hard to see through both my veil and the muff screen. Okay, so I've got 3 of them in here now, and I've got 2 more to do. So it's hard to do it elbows up. So I'm gonna go over here, find the other 2. I don't remember which hives I put the queens in, so I have to find them. Most of them I just shoved down the feed hole. There's 2 more here somewhere. There's one. Oh, that's a big one. They are unhappy. All right, get a new candy cage. Get my candy cage in there. I want to open it up. And then get my queen cage in there. I've had queens fly away on me. I'm not a big fan of that. Queen rearing's a lot of work, so there's normal failures along the way. So they don't need more help to fail. Like that one, she's dead. That queen is no longer. All right. Let's find the 3rd one. There's the 3rd one. This one is also dead. That's unfortunate. Okay. Not sure why that didn't work. I'll have to discuss that with my mentor. Okay, I have 3 queens here. Now, the fun part. We'll do the cell checks. And typically these Nucs have only 1 frame of brood. Sometimes I'll put a frame and a bit, as I mentioned. So they're pretty easy to cell check. Oy. Yeah, see there. It's not very warm out here and the weather is threatening, so I could really get pounded pretty hard. I do like to shake the bees off to do this, but I might not be brave enough to do that. We'll see. Boy, there is not much brood on that one at all. You don't need a ton of brood. There's pollen, there's nectar, and so I'll put a caged candy release queen in here. I'll put her right in the middle so I can see that candy cage through the feed hole. You can just pull that plug and to see if that candy is gone. The less disturbance, the better. Well, that's a young larva there. This is going to make a good nuke. It'll have emergence over a good amount of time. Couple cells started there. 2 days they are not real big, so they're sometimes not that easy to see. Okay, same thing. Put this candy cage here. I know you're way over there. I'll bring you over here to see. Okay, so you can see my cage there. I'll do this one where you can see. Yeah, the bees are not really in a good mood today. They've already been stung in the hand. Okay, there's some cells. I feel raindrops on my back. So there's cells here. I just mash them. You can't do anything with those. So I gotta hurry. I don't want to get beat up, and I'm not a fan of getting dripping wet either. They were backfilling a lot of this space, so that's why it's not laid up very well. Alright, so we'll get my 3rd queen in here. I might have to take a break. Take a rain delay. I gotta mark these 3 though. So this is round 5, I think. Actually, it's our 4. These are just 3 late ones from round 4. And that lets me know when I should check for eggs and when I should give up on them. I think this is what the day is going to be like. Just kind of little drizzly drip drops all day, off and on. So it'll be hard to work out here. Getting these queens in really was my priority. And I can leave the cell checks for another day. They're not far enough along to be a threat yet. And then I have some emergence. I think I have emergence on, I don't remember, Saturday, Sunday, so I can start moving queens in here. Anyway, thanks for watching. fanning at that entrance is quite remarkable. It's very loud. It's a fairly warm day. I think it's 26 or 28 C. Not as warm as a lot of places, but it's very humid. We've had a few little showers, so that makes things very humid. We get a shower and then it gets warm. I thought for fun we'd take a look at Wednesday's graft. Today is Friday, so that's 2 days. I find that checking a graft in 24 hours, it's still kind of difficult to see which they've accepted and which they haven't. Leave it a couple of days and it becomes a lot more apparent. Look at the bees on that. Look at the bees on that. Just incredible. Let's see if I can lay it down this way. And we'll start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, that one's barely drawn out. So I'm going to say 6. 6 on that top bar. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm not convinced of that one. 18, 19, 20, 21. So there's 21 more queens cooking, as I say. Okay, we'll put them back in and let them keep doing their job. I've reached the limit of mating nukes that I can make. I think I counted 72 mating nukes there, and they're mostly full. So if I can't rotate them into a second round, meaning the queen is mated and laying and I can take her and use her elsewhere and then use that mating nuke again, then I'm pretty well done, because there's, what did I just say, 20, 21? Here, there's 30 in my incubator. And I've got about 8 mating nukes available. So I might have to knock it off with the grafting. Now this would make, I'm sure this would make at least 4 mating nukes. Maybe 6 or 8, right? For this amount of bees that's in here. So once I'm done, once I've kind of got to my last round, I'll break this up, use that as mating nukes, and then call it a day. Okay, it's a much warmer day, it's the same day, but it's much warmer. And so we'll finish the cell checks on these newest round of mating nukes. Usually shake the bees off, but if I can see them, I don't bother. I had these frames above a queen excluder for a few days, so a lot of this brood is emerged. That's okay. There's plenty of bees in there, there's plenty of brood. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Much brood at all on some of these. See, that's got 2 frames of brood because they were a bit light, each one. It looks like I might be doing some late season splits this year. And so again, that terminology describes once I take the honey harvest, which will be mid to late August. I should do this probably mid-August. Then the hive really has an overabundance of unemployed bees. They have no purpose, they have no reason to be so strong. So the trend in my area has been at that time to basically produce a package out of that. Shake 3 or 4 pounds of bees into a new box onto new comb, empty comb. Don't add brood and whatnot is kind of what I'm getting at. So it's just comb and brood, comb and bees, and mated queen. So if all goes well, I'll be doing okay in the mated queen category. And although my apiary is kind of sad right now, I estimate I'll have 30 or so honey producers. So I should be able to shake at least one package out of each one of those, make 30 splits. So, that might just work, and that might be a thing that I do this year. Typically, I'm not a fan of doing that for myself, particularly because it costs me a lot of money up front. And what I mean is the queen is valuable regardless if I buy it or I produce it. There's a lot of work involved here, there's a lot of time. So the queen is valuable, and also when I make that split, I have to feed it. So it's going to take on, $25, $30 worth of feed. And then it's got to make it through the winter, it's got to make it through the spring, and I have to feed it again. Supplements, treatments, etc., 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 before it gets to 11, 10 and a half, 11 months old before it ever produces any honey. So to me, taking the risk of winter, taking all of the costs up front as far as production and work and sugar, etc., etc., and then risking all of that into that great equalizer we call winter. It's just not a risk that I've normally taken. However, my situation's a little different right now. I don't really have enough bees, so it would be nice to add a couple of dozen colonies to my number. Oh, that hurt right there. To my numbers going into winter. Yeah, so there's bees flying all over. I was kind of asking for that. And today is a bit of an unsettled day. It's a bit breezy. There's the clouds are kind of here and there. There's little thunderstorms, little showers everywhere. So the bees, I think, are a little bit on edge. But they've just tuned me into that fact right there. All right. Well, look at that nice straight line of mating nukes here. I like the look of that. I'm sure my queens don't. I'm sure they come back going, okay, where did we park again? Right? So, all right. We'll leave it at that for now. And once again, thanks for watching.